Okay, now to create our header, we need to decide how wide our site is going to be, the interior table. I like to use anywhere from 650 to 720. So let's assume we're going to create a new image, do new here, and we'll do 650 wide by 150 in height. And here is the size of our header. Now what you want to do is set the background. Now we could set the background color like this, the exact same color as what we did here. We did that with the color picker when we created the ebook cover before, so the color will match our ebook. So we just take the bucket and click inside there, and we now have our banner with the right color on it. We could then import our cool text again. So we could do layer, import from file, and then we could bring in our cool text. And then we can put this where we want it here. Then we'll do a deselect when we have it where we want. And now what we could do if we wanted to was add an image on here as well. We could use the same image or we could use a different image. It doesn't really matter. You can fancy it up however you want. We could even put some more text on it here, like our author name. Let's turn this around. And maybe we want to go white here. Can't move that where you want it. By grabbing a hold of this, moving it, you can move this thing out of the way a bit. Okay, and then we go find another image of past if we want. We could put it over here. Now, if we're going to bring in another image, we're going to have to resize it first. So let's open up an image, and we brought in, I picked a different one here. So bring that in. And then what we need to do is shrink this down. And our height was 150. So make our height 150. And the width, because the aspect ratio will follow it right along. And then we can do a save as and new. Okay, there we go. Now we can just click up top here to bring this back in. We'll do an import from file. And then we can move this over here. Like so. And we can even stretch it out if we want. To where we want it. And then do a deselect when we have it where we want it. And there is what our header would look like. Now, if you're going to use a different image with a different background color, then you should match the background colors to your image. So really, we should have used the same image over here as we used before. If we're going to use a different image, then we're going to have to change this background color. So I'm going to bring in the original image rather than using this here. So what we can do, one of the little windows we have here is the layers window. So what we can do is we can delete this layer here. If we just uncheck it, then it doesn't show. And then what we could do is we can bring in our original image here. Let's just do an open. And here's our original past image. And then what we want to do is resize it and make it 150 high. Maintain aspect ratio. And then we'll just save it as header pick or something like that. All right, go back to this, and we'll do a import from file. Header pick. Bring this over here. And then we could stretch this out if we want, without distorting it. Something like that, so it matches a little bit better than it would have with the other image there. Now the other thing we could do for a header, let's just deselect that. The other thing we could do is use a background image as our header. So let's just, again, open up our original here. And what we want to do is make this 150 by 75. So we'll go to Image, Resize, and do 150, 75. Actually, we want that at 650 by 150 is what we want there. Okay. And there's our pasta image there. And then we could go ahead, bring in our cool text. Move it where we want it. And then, put our name on it, etc. So there's many different ways that you can choose to create your header image. Okay, so that's it for header. All we have to do now is save it as, do a file. Well, first we should save it as a print.net. Call it header A. And we'll save it as a paint.net, and then we'll do a save as and save it as a JPEG. And then flatten. And then we can take this one and we can save this as, better call this header B, I guess. No, you can call it header. And then save as, and then header.jpg. Okay, so there's our couple different ways we can make our headers. Now footers are just as easily made. What we can do is just create a small image for the bottom here. So we'll do a new, and then we're going to make this again 650 wide, however wide we're making our website, and then we'll just make it 30 pixels high. We will use our color fill tool, make sure we have the same color selected here. Use our bucket fill, fill the bucket, then we'll do a new layer, and we'll put some text on here, and then you can put whatever you want down here. Put like so, and then you just do a file, save as, footer, and save. Save as, and then as a JPEG for your website, and that's your footer. You do the same thing with the image as well. You could open our original pasta again. Then we could take a selection out of here. Do image crop to selection. And then we could do 650 Okay, and there's our footer background. Same deal again. Move this where we want it. Do a save as. Call it header or footer 2. Save it as a PDN. And then do a save as. And save it as a JPEG. And there it is. Okay, so that's how you can make your footers as well. Okay, so now we have our headers, footers, and e-cover. It's time to go start working on our website.